This is Matthew Cratter from Trade University, and today I want to talk about different ways to use Bitcoin instead of using PayPal. In particular, how to use a really easy app solution, which is the Strike app. It turns out my video from yesterday about deleting PayPal really touched a chord. A lot of people deleting their PayPal accounts after learning that the company had considered a proposal to debit people's accounts up to $2,500 just for quote-unquote spreading misinformation. It looks like this has hit the company quite badly, and I've heard from a bunch of people that PayPal is not allowing them to close their accounts, which I don't know how that is legal. But people are looking for alternatives to PayPal that might not be as prone to censorship and really bad customer service. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the Strike app, which is a very easy, beginner-friendly way of using the Bitcoin network to send both Bitcoin and to send fiat money like US dollars. So I'm going to show you actually inside the app in the second part of this video, but I'm going to start the video by talking about things like hot wallets and cold wallets because I got a lot of questions about this in yesterday's video. So I'm going to sort of set the background. Feel free to skip ahead if you already know everything about hot wallets and cold wallets and cold storage and software wallets and hardware wallets. But I want to provide some context so people know what they are getting into. So this is the background and terminology. A hot wallet is just a Bitcoin wallet that's connected to the internet. And this is usually an app on your phone, a browser extension on your computer, laptop, or desktop, or a standalone app on your computer. But the key is that a hot wallet is connected to the internet all of the time, or at least most of the time, as for example, your phone is. A cold wallet is something that is not connected to the internet. So when we say hot or cold, we're referring to whether it's easily accessible to the internet. So some examples of hot wallets that I suggested yesterday as a substitute for PayPal or Venmo would be Muun, Muun.com, that's Muun with two U's, and also the Strike app. These are both examples of apps and hot wallets. Now, hot wallets are appropriate for amounts of money, as I've said many times, amounts of money similar to what you might want to carry in your purse or your wallet. So at least for most people watching this video, at least for most Americans watching this video, it's probably not going to be more than a few $100s. And people are using cash less and less, obviously, as time goes on. The reason you don't want to leave a lot of money on a hot wallet is because they're easier to hack than cold wallets, because hackers can get to you through the internet and get to the app through the internet. When a hot wallet signs a transaction, a Bitcoin transaction, the private keys may also be briefly readable online, as I understand it. So you definitely want to use cold storage or a cold wallet for the majority of your Bitcoin stash, your long-term savings. So your hot wallet is like your purse or wallet. Your cold wallet or cold storage is like your bank savings account or gold vault. You would never walk around with all of your money in your back pocket or in your purse, and in the same way you wouldn't want to put a majority or even more than a very small amount of your net worth into a hot wallet. It's really intended mostly just for spending purposes. Now you may also hear these terms software wallet versus hardware wallet. Muun and Strike are both software wallets. They're also hot wallets. Hardware wallets are cold wallets. Things like Trezor, Coldcard, these are actual physical devices. I'll show you a picture of them in a minute. And these are used for what's called cold storage. With a hardware wallet, your private keys are stored inside that piece of hardware. So it doesn't store your Bitcoin, but it stores your private keys. Your Bitcoin doesn't really exist anywhere except on the blockchain as an entry. But you're able to move your Bitcoin to the extent you hold your own private keys, and you can sign transactions. So unlike a software wallet, with a hardware wallet, your keys, your private keys, never touch the internet. Basically, you take one of these hardware wallets that look like this. This is the Trezor. You plug it into your USB port. This is the Coldcard, which is my favorite. Trezor is a little bit more for beginners. It's very intuitive. Coldcard is really when you want to step it up a level. And I do talk a lot about Coldcard in my paid courses. The key thing about these hardware wallets, they're never allowed to touch the internet. You basically plug it in to the USB port of your laptop or desktop, or you can also use, some of them allow you to use QR codes, or in the case of the Coldcard wallet, you can use micro SD cards that you pass back and forth between the hardware wallet, between the Coldcard and your computer, and in that way you can do partially signed Bitcoin transactions, etc., without actually plugging into your computer. But this is how hardware wallets work. when you're ready to send Bitcoin, you create a transaction, and then that transaction is passed into the hardware wallet where it is signed, and then it's passed back out to be broadcast to the Bitcoin network. And so in this way, your keys are never revealed to the internet in the same way that they might be with a hot wallet. With hardware wallets, your private keys never leave the hardware device. So that's the differences between hot wallets and cold wallets, and hardware wallets and software wallets. If you're finding this video helpful so far, I just ask you to hit that subscribe and like button. Share this video with a few friends too, if you're interested in helping them to get away from companies like PayPal. So these are the hardware wallets. They are, the Trezor's the least expensive, and then the Coldcard is a little bit more expensive. I want to answer a couple quick questions here that people had. So the Muun wallet is another, it's a hot wallet. It's a software wallet that you can use on your smartphone. Someone had a question, Ethan Click had a question, can we use Muun as a replacement for our Trezor hardware wallet since we can hold our own keys on Muun? And I responded, not a good idea, because Muun is a hot wallet. I would only use it for as much money as you keep in your wallet. And so now, having viewed this much of the video, you should understand that Muun is a software wallet. It's a hot wallet, and as such, you don't want to put your life savings, your Bitcoin life savings, into it. Instead, you would use your Trezor hardware wallet or your Coldcard for that. So what I'm basically talking about in this video is replacements for Venmo or PayPal, and these will always be very convenient hot wallets, software wallets that are on your phone. So you can try using the Muun wallet if Strike is not available where you are. I'm going to be talking about the Strike app for the remainder of this video. So the Strike app, it's an app that uses the Lightning Network. The Lightning Network itself is a layer 2 solution that's built on top of the Bitcoin network, which is the base layer. And the Lightning Network uses the same token as a Bitcoin network. It uses BTC. It doesn't use some other scammy token. Now, when you send money using Strike, let's say you want to send US dollars to someone, basically your US dollars are converted to Bitcoin instantly by Strike. You don't have to worry about capital gains taxes or conversion or anything like that. And then those Bitcoin are sent over the Lightning Network to their destination. When they reach their destination, they're automatically converted from that Bitcoin back to the local currency. So maybe they be converted to euros. I'm sending dollars to someone in Europe and it's converted to euros when it reaches the destination. Now, Strike is a privately held company. It's a corporation. The Strike app, as such, requires KYC, just like opening up a Coinbase account or a Kraken account or a Binance account, where you have to give up your personal information. You also have to link your bank account, as we're going to see in the demo that I'm about to do. You cannot use Strike without the company's permission. So again, this is an app that's built by a private company on top of the Lightning Network, which itself is on top of the Bitcoin network. So the Strike app is not permissionless. You require, the company has to approve you to use it. Most of you will get approved. They obviously want to grow their business. But it's important to recognize that this contrasts with both the Bitcoin network and the Lightning Network, which are both open to everyone. They're permissionless. Permission is not required to use the Bitcoin network or the Lightning Network. And so as you get more advanced, you're going to want to run your own Bitcoin and Lightning nodes rather than trusting Strike's nodes or the Muun wallet's nodes. And this is something that I also talk about in my courses. But for now, we're just talking about simple solutions, simple replacements for PayPal. And I think Strike really is a good solution for this. Now, unfortunately, the Strike app, as far as I can tell, is only available in the United States, in El Salvador, and in Argentina. So I don't think it's available in Europe yet, or Australia, or Canada, or various other countries. In the US, it's also not available yet, as far as I can tell from the Strike website. It's not available in Hawaii, New York, or South Dakota. New York has especially stringent crypto laws, and they've done everything they can to make sure that no company wants to do business with Bitcoin or crypto inside of New York State. This is the BitLicense fiasco. So if you live in New York State, or you live in another country, or you live in Hawaii or South Dakota, you live in a place that does not support the Strike app, you can use the Muun app, which I will talk about in another video. It's fairly self-explanatory, and it allows you to send Bitcoin over the Lightning Network as well as the Bitcoin network. But for this video, I'm just going to be covering the Strike app. Finally, some terminology before we move on to the demo with the Strike app. There are these words: self-custody, non-custody, non-custodial, custodial. This is a complete mess with the language, but I wanted to go over it quickly just because this is just as important to understand as the distinction between hardware and software wallets. So self-custody just means you hold your own private keys. You don't require anyone else's permission to move your Bitcoin. Non-custodial is another way of saying the same thing. It just means there's no third-party custodian. In other words, you are the custodian. It's the same thing as self-custody. You hold your own private keys and you don't need anyone's permission to move your Bitcoin. A custodial wallet is where someone else holds your private keys for you. And so if you use Coinbase, if you just leave your coins on the exchange, or you use Strike, someone is holding your private keys for you and you need their permission. You need to request to have your Bitcoin moved. This is also a problem. This is not as much a problem if the company is fairly reliable like Strike, but obviously Celsius was an example where a custodial wallet ended up hurting a lot of people because they went bankrupt and people were not able to withdraw their Bitcoin in time. So that's the distinction. The basic distinction is between holding your own keys and someone else holding your keys. I would say that this whole framing is propaganda. Non-custodial, calling something non-custodial, sounds like it's a bad thing when it really just means I own it and control it. So for example, if you have a briefcase full of cash under your bed, we would not call it non-custodial cash. We would just call it your cash. Likewise, we wouldn't call it a non-custodial house when you've paid off your mortgage. So basically, the way this industry is developing, it's being developed by regulators and to make regulators happy, and they use framing like this that is ridiculous. The great thing about Bitcoin, though, is you can hold your own private keys. And if you choose not to, you choose not to for the sake of convenience. And with the Strike app, it is a custodial wallet, so you will not be holding your own private keys. You're going to need Strike's permission to move your US dollars or your Bitcoin. So in this way, it's just like PayPal, where theoretically they could freeze your account, but Strike has not shown itself to be highly politicized and highly woke in the same way that we saw in yesterday's video that PayPal has. But these are the trade-offs. I just want you to be aware of the trade-offs between hot wallets and cold wallets, custodial wallets and non-custodial wallets. It's okay, I think, that we trust Strike with our Bitcoin or our US dollars because these are going to be very small amounts of spending money. Strike is a very reputable company in the space. Jack Mallers, if you've heard him interviewed, is a really funny guy. I think he's a good guy. He's a true Bitcoiner. So you don't have to worry about getting rugged. But of course, it always is a possibility where something happens to Strike and you lose your Bitcoin that is stored there. And I suppose you could lose your US dollars as well. But even if you were to get rug pulled or something were to get frozen, it's not going to be a big deal because, again, we're just using this as a spending wallet, as a hot wallet. So it'd be equivalent to getting your wallet or purse stolen. It'd be an inconvenience, but hopefully it would not completely change your household finances. So as I said, there are always these trade-offs between security, privacy, convenience. If you want the highest security and privacy, you're going to run your own node. You're going to buy non-KYC Bitcoin. You're going to do CoinJoin and all these techniques that I teach in my paid courses. But if you want to just replace PayPal with something that uses Bitcoin, you want more convenience, and you're willing to give up some on the control and privacy, it makes sense to go with something like Strike instead. So now I would like to, I just wanted to mention where Strike holds their Bitcoin. Their custodian is called Prime Trust, and that's where your Bitcoin is held when you leave it on the app. There's really no reason to leave Bitcoin on this app, though. You should either withdraw it and put it into cold storage, or you can spend it and send it to someone. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to move this to talking about how the app works. So I'm on my iPhone here. I'm inside of the Strike app. And the first screen we see here, I'm on the far right side, the little person in the lower right-hand corner. You can see my Strike name. Please don't send me anything. I'm not doing it for this. And I'm also not going to be using an affiliate code or anything to try to make money from this. I want to stay as neutral as possible. But if you choose to, you can install the Strike app. You can share it with friends, and then you can earn $5 for each friend that you share it with. So this is one of the starting screens where you'll see your Strike name. There'll be various payment methods here, which I don't want to click on right now, but that's where you'll link your regular bank account or your debit card to. And then the direct deposit tab is also very cool. If you are receiving a paycheck from an employer, you could hook this up and you can get paid in a mixture of US dollars and Bitcoin. And there's basically a toggle here where you can decide, for example, I want to be paid 80% in Bitcoin and 20% in US dollars. So this is a way of also receiving your pay through through direct deposit, which I think is pretty cool. The other thing you can do with this, before we move on to just sending money, is you can buy and sell Bitcoin with it. So you can transfer some US dollars. Basically, you go here and you deposit some money. You click the deposit tab, and that will link to your bank account, and then you can move some US dollars. I moved $100 over for the purposes of this video. And so I could use this if I wanted to buy Bitcoin. I would just click the buy button right here. And then the maximum amount I could buy right here is $100. That's how much I have in this account. And then I could just click confirm. It would buy the Bitcoin. And after I do that, I can send it to myself using this little paper airplane in the upper right-hand corner. I can send it to the address associated with a hardware wallet that I control. So this is a nice way to buy Bitcoin and not have to trust a company like Coinbase or Kraken or one of these big companies that have done a lot of misbehavior. The only problem with this is their limits are still fairly low. You can talk to them and try to get your limits raised, but I found I'm not able to buy as much Bitcoin on Strike as I would like to, as I can, for example, using Coinbase, where the limits are much, much higher in terms of how much you can buy in a certain week and withdraw in a certain week, because you obviously don't want to leave your Bitcoin on one of these services for too long. So now that we've discussed how to fund your account, how to use the Strike app to buy Bitcoin, I want to show you how to use the Strike app as a replacement for PayPal or Venmo. And this will involve sending dollars to other people. So we can go to the home screen here, and you can see that we have a request button and a pay button. So the first thing we'll do is the pay button. Let's say I want to pay a friend back for dinner. I'll just use Thomas T BTC here. I'll say this was for pizza last night. I'll click the white right arrow and I will pay him back $20. I'll just click the next button. And if I hit this confirm button, it will send $20 to Thomas T BTC. And the money will end up in his account as US dollars. It will be sent using Bitcoin over the Lightning Network, but I will see dollars on my end and he will see dollars on his end, and there won't be any price risk as there is with holding Bitcoin. So that's how you pay people. If they're not yet on the Strike app, you can use the plus sign there and get $5 for having someone else join the network. And the more people join the Strike network or the Strike app, the more useful it will become. We have these network effects in the same way that PayPal and Venmo and Facebook benefited from network effects. So that's how you pay people, just using this pay button. If you want to receive money, you will click the request button, and then you can type in the username. We'll use Thomas T BTC again. I'll say he owes me some money from pizza last night. I'll click the right button, and let's say he owes me $20. I will click next, and then I can send him a receipt that he can use to pay me $20. And again, $20 will show up in my account, not Bitcoin in this case. But you can also request Bitcoin, which is quite nice. So what I'll do is I'll just click request here. I will click the little Bitcoin logo in the upper right hand corner, and then I can add a memo line. This is for pizza last night. Click the right arrow, and I can choose in terms of fiat how much money. So I want him to send me $20 worth of Bitcoin. I'll click the next button, and then I can share this request with him. You can also use a QR code as well. So this is how you can use the Strike app as a substitute for Venmo or for PayPal. This doesn't yet work, for example, if you're a merchant that you want to sell something, you would have to use this directly. It would not work as a paywall, for example, as I sell my trading courses at Trade University. And so I'm interested in finding ways to do that as well. How exactly do you sell your goods for Bitcoin using an app like this? Obviously, you can send someone a Bitcoin receive address would be one way of doing it. But what I'm showing you today would just replace PayPal's functionality in terms of sending and receiving money from your friends or from businesses. This would not work as a full merchant solution. So if you do know solutions for this, I am very interested in moving my paid courses to a Bitcoin-only system where the paywall is controlled by that. I just haven't found a good system for that yet. So if you know about solutions like this, please share it in the comment section below. This is going to be a process migrating from things like Venmo and PayPal to more friendly Bitcoin services, and this will take time to develop, but I think the Strike app is a good place to start. And by using the Strike app, you're not just helping out the Strike company and Jack Mallers and good Bitcoiners, you are also increasing Bitcoin adoption, you're onboarding more people to the Bitcoin network, and you're helping Lightning Network adoption as well. And to the extent we can drive our wealth and drive our savings and drive our money transfers to good companies that are built on the Bitcoin network, this is much better than having to trust legacy companies that have shown themselves to be quite incompetent and quite evil, as PayPal has done. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.